माता दंड प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंड प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। You came back from India?
Yes प्रभु।
Okay, we'll begin now. Om Timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhajatam Sahaganam Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gauravi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Okay, we are on the last chapter, covering the 64 items of devotional service from Nectar of Devotion. Last week we began with the importance of reciting or visiting, residing, or visiting in a holy place. So here are a couple of slides, repetition for the sake of remembrance, and then we begin on the next slide. Srila Rupa Goswami thus shows that simply remembering Vrindavan can quickly evoke devotional ecstasy bhav, even in a neophyte. So we discuss how Rupa Goswami says these five angas of devotional service are very important. And even if we are like not qualified, beginners, full of material desires, these five things can give us bhava. And we may not be able to stay at the platform of bhava, but they can give us the same experience. And our purification of our heart speeds up based on our absorption. And these five angas, these five limbs of devotional service, they guarantee absorption without qualification. And that's why they are considered as the most potent, most powerful forms of devotional service. I mean, they are so powerful that they can penetrate our coverings, so many layers of material conditioning and coverings, and can help us, make us remember Krishna. That's why they are called the most potent. It is recommended that devotees spend time with these five limbs of devotional service as much as possible. One of them is chanting the holy names of Krishna. One of them is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, can give us absorption. One of them is residing, remembering, or visiting holy place like Vrindavan and others. And one of them is worshipping the deities of the Lord. And the fifth element is association of devotees. Just now we had a very, very nice association of His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj. He was giving a class, started 8:30, finished at 10:05. And such amazing class Maharaj gave. Such very, very high class actually. Very deep, very realized on a different platform. So association can help us. So these five angas are very important. So we are discussing about holy place. Then this is also something, this is the last slide we covered last week. The place is in 84 square mile district. It's also called Chaurasi Kos. 84 square mile district of Mathura are so beautifully situated on the banks of the river Yamuna that anyone who goes there will never want to return to this material world. This place of Vrindavan, seeing the holy river Yamuna, seeing the kunds like various sarovars, there's Govind Kund, there is Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. Just looking at them can give us a feeling of bhav. These statements by Rupa Goswami are factually realized descriptions of Mathura and Vrindavan. All these qualities prove that Mathura and Vrindavan are situated transcendentally. Otherwise, there would be no possibility of invoking our transcendental sentiments in these places. Such transcendental feelings are aroused immediately and without fail after one arrives in Mathura or Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami is mentioning, Prabhupada is translating, that if these places are not spiritual, then how can they invoke ecstasy? Any other place in the material world does not. We cannot remember them while chanting or just by themselves and feel very happy and feel ecstatic about it, like spiritual happiness. So these places must be transcendentally situated. That's why they bring absorption. While hearing, while chanting, one can remember these holy places. Okay. This is the last slide on this Anga of Mathura Vas. Mathura Vas means to reside in Mathura. In the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada adds that if we are unable to reside in Mathura, Vrindavan physically, we should reside there in our minds. Residing in Vrindavan includes living in remembrance of Krishna's pastimes performed there. Once again, residing in Vrindavan includes living in remembrance of Krishna's pastimes performed there. When we hear about Vrindavan and visualize Krishna's pastimes, we can associate with the Dham. Anything about Krishna, like Prabhupada says, if you're remembering either Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, that's mentally residing in Dham. Or we can also think of any place in the Dham. Actually, Prabhupada brought Vrindavan to the West. Therefore, by serving Krishna in Prabhupada's temples and by living in remembrance of Raj Krishna, we can practice Mathura Vas. So we can live in Prabhupada's temple and we can remember Krishna in Vrindavan. That's how practically we can practice Mathura Vas, Prabhupada says. We can make our home Vrindavan. Going to Vrindavan is a matter of consciousness. That consciousness can develop in any part of the world. Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan, Advaita Acharya or Lord Chaitanya. Vrindavan is where the devotee is present, where the deity is present, and where there is talks of Vrindavan. We should be careful not to go to Vrindavan to carry out our material desires. If we do this, we will offend the Dham. Glory of Dham. May the abode of Vrindavan be glorified. The transcendental glories of a single particle of its dust minimize the glories of innumerable Kamdhenu or Surabhi cows, desired trees and touchstones. One particle of dust of Vrindavan is so powerful. Even the best of the demigods like Brahma, Shiva and Lakshmi never know the glories of such a particle of dust. This is from Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrita. It's one of the book written by Prabodhananda Saraswati, who was one of the associate of Lord Chaitanya. When we are, he used to live in Vrindavan. His samadhi is there behind. If you have been to Vrindavan, there is a place called Kalia Ghat, where Lord Krishna killed the snake Kalia. Behind there is samadhi of Prabodhananda Saraswati. He wrote this book, Vrindavan Mahimamrita. From there this comes. When we are in Vrindavan, we should remain aware of the power of the dust of Vrindavan. It has been touched by the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna and is a powerful medicine to cure the disease of material life. You want to roll in it and cover your body with it, just glorifying the dust of Vrindavan. The dust of Vrindavan is also described as Chintamani or desire fulfilling. Okay, now rendering service to devotees is the next item. Lord Shiva tells Parvati, my dear Parvati, there are different methods of worship, and out of all such methods, the worship of the Supreme Person is considered to be the highest. But even higher than the worship of the devotee is the worship of the Lord, is the worship of Lord's devotees. So worshipping devotee of Krishna, serving devotee of Krishna is higher than serving Krishna. Worshipping or serving a devotee of Krishna will give us attraction to Krishna. Worshipping or serving Krishna's devotee will give us attraction to Krishna. And the opposite, if we displease or do some disservice to devotees, then it can take away our attraction to Krishna also. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says, by rendering service to those who are pure at heart, great service is done and one develops taste for Vasudev Ruchi, taste for hearing about Krishna. That comes by serving devotees. Let me become a sincere servant of the devotees, because by serving them, one can achieve unalloyed devotional service onto the lotus feet of the Lord. The service of the devotees diminishes all miserable material conditions and develops within one a deep devotional love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the material conditions, miserable material conditions, reduces by serving devotees. There is also a verse where Lord Vishnu says that he eats to the mouth of his devotees. And also, we don't separate devotees from Krishna. So we, like pure devotees, we put them on the same platform as Krishna. It is described like taking a name of a devotee, a pure devotee, is as good as taking the name of Krishna. Like we say Jai Prabhupada, we worship Prabhupada, and it is as good as worshipping Krishna. Actually, it is even higher. Through them, that makes us go closer to Krishna. And it's also a very joyful feeling to serve. It's very reciprocal to serve the devotees. My dear Partha, this is Agni Puran, Lord Krishna telling to Arjuna, my dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be a devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. There is a small story I'm sure many devotees have heard. One devotee came to Saraswati Thakur and he asked him that I have many questions. So Saraswati Thakur said, tell me something about yourself. And he said, well, I am devotee of Krishna. I have some question about Krishna. Saraswati Thakur says, well, right now I'm in middle of something. Come back after some time. Another person came just right next. He said, Maharaj, I have some questions. If you can help me answer. Maharaj said, tell me something about you. He said, I'm a devotee of Krishna's devotees. I'm servant of Krishna's devotees. Maharaj said, come, let's talk now. What questions you have? So Saraswati Thakur, who is Prabhupada disciple, showing by his example how serving Krishna's devotees is higher than serving Krishna. Then this is serving the Lord according to one's position. In the Padma Puran, there is a statement that one should perform the ceremonies for the Lord according to one's financial position. Everyone should observe the different ceremonies and celebrations of the Lord by all means. So it says serving the Lord according to one's position means whatever Krishna has given you, with that you serve Krishna. If Krishna has not given you anything, then you can serve Krishna with a tulsi leaf, with a flower, with a flute. So however you can serve Krishna, Krishna will accept. But serve according to one's position. Not that one Krishna has given one so much and one is serving one leaf, and for himself one is making everything nice, grand arrangements. So Rupa Goswami said one should serve the Lord according to one's position, and the Lord is satisfied. The example in Ramayana, Hanuman was serving by building the bridge with huge boulders, and this little Gileri, he was serving with small stones. And Lord Ram said, both are equally pleasing to me because both are giving their best. So likewise, in whatever situation, circumstances Krishna has put us into, we don't need to change anything. But if we can make Prabhupada says having a material body itself is a curse actually. Being born in a material body itself is a curse. So whatever situation Krishna has put us into, well, that's something we cannot change. But we can make the best use of the bad bargain by whatever energy we have trying to serve Krishna. Today Chandramali Maharaj was mentioning we need blessings to make progress in our Krishna consciousness, and all the blessings will come by themselves if one is just sincere. One just sincerely trying to be Krishna conscious, trying to spread Krishna conscious. The nature of this world is there will be many impediments all the time. Cannot avoid it. But if one is just trying to serve Krishna, Krishna will certainly help us. And anything we go through is actually Krishna's mercy. Everything is Krishna's mercy. One devotee asked this question to Maharaj. Maharaj, sometimes we are in great difficulties and we pray to Krishna and it seems like nothing is happening. So Maharaj says, well, if you pray to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates, or Krishna always reciprocates. Krishna never defaults. Two things can happen if you feel Krishna is not reciprocating with you. One is you're not able to recognize Krishna's reciprocation. Krishna is reciprocating, but Krishna reciprocates in different ways and forms, and we may not be able to realize that. And second thing Maharaj said is that the prayers can be conditional. Conditional means we're asking something for material benefit. We're asking something to, which is not conducive for us. Then Krishna won't reciprocate. Otherwise, if we are genuinely sincere and we are trying to please Krishna, Krishna always reciprocates. But his reciprocation, sometimes it takes time, and sometimes we may not be able to observe it. Then performing devotional service in Kartik, in the Padma Puran, it is said, the Lord may offer liberation or material happiness to a devotee. But after some devotional service has been executed, particularly in Mathura during the month of Kartik, the devotees want only to attain pure devotional service unto the Lord. The purport is that the Lord does not award devotional service to ordinary persons who are not serious about it, but even such unserious persons who execute devotional service according to the regulatory principles during the month of Kartik and within the jurisdiction of Mathura in India are very easily awarded the Lord's personal service. So it's very easy for Krishna to give us some material benefit or anything except pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti. If Krishna can give any of those things very simply, but it does not easily award to anyone and everyone pure devotional service, because Nectar of Devotion, first chapter explains, by pure devotional service we can control Krishna. So the Chandravalli Maharaj was mentioning that when we actually develop love of God, when we actually become pure, then we can talk to Krishna one-on-one. Just like quoting Prabhupada, he said we can talk to Krishna one-on-one. Just like I'm talking to a friend, we can talk to Krishna like that. And we talk, and then we can ask Krishna whatever we like. But then Maharaj says, we naturally ask with love, humility, Krishna, please, in a way. And Krishna is bound by the love of his pure devotees, and Krishna reciprocates. Krishna is bound to reciprocate. But then Krishna does not give interest in his personal antaraj, in his personal association, very easily. But it is said somebody who perform Kartik Vrata in Mathura, he can very easily attain personal service to Lord Krishna. This is the importance of performing devotional service in Kartik. Then observing festivals, celebrating the Lord's activities. This statement of the Bhavishya Puran gives evidence that by observing different functions in relationship with the Lord, one is sure to become pleasing to the Lord. It may now, many times devotional service, the way it is happening, we may not be able to see it right away. Like one devotee visited, his name is Nityananda Charan Prabhu. He visited from Chowpatty. He came, he gave a class, and he said every time we see the Lord, we get the blessings. But either for the blessings to manifest may take little time, or the blessings are manifesting in a way that we are not able to recognize. But every single darshan of the Lord is very purifying, actually. And the Lord is especially pleased on the festival's day. And when we worship the Lord, pray sincerely to the Lord on such occasions, naturally we get a lot of blessings. So this is one thing, observing festivals, celebrating the Lord's activities. And I'm sure, we had Nrsimha Chaturthi day before yesterday. So one should enthusiastically observe, one should fast according to whatever is needed. One should properly observe the festivals. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, by observing festivals, one increases one's determination. Then serving the deity with great devotion. Adi Puran states that a devotee is satisfied simply by being engaged in devotional service. He does not aspire for any liberation from material conditional life. In other words, anyone who is engaged in devotional service is not in the material condition of life, although he may appear so. So here it says anybody who is serving the deity, serving the Lord with devotion, they may appear to be conditioned in material existence, but it says anyone who is engaged in devotional service is not in the material condition of life. I mean, serving the deity, serving the Lord is a very transcendental activity when we are actually, because like whether it is serving Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, or serving Radha and Krishna, they are there. When we are bathing them, we are actually bathing them. When we are dressing them, we are dressing them. When we are garlanding them, we are garlanding them. They are there. And they are receiving the service from us. So these activities are not material activities by any chance, although they seem to be, because because we are dealing with things in this world, it seems to be, but one is not conditioned by material existence. It is also said that serving the deities help very fast to realize the form of the Lord. Also to attain deeper devotion. Serving the deities is very important, very helpful. Deity worship, my dear friend, if you still have any desire to enjoy the company of your friends within the material world, then don't look upon the form of Krishna who is standing on the bank of Keshi Ghat. He is known as Govinda and his eyes are very enchanting. He is playing upon his flute and on his head there is a peacock feather and his whole body is illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. So this is one thing that Rupa Goswami says, that if you have a desire to have a relationship with your friend, then please don't go to the bank of Yamuna in a moonlit night and don't observe the threefold bended form of Krishna playing a flute in on the bank of Yamuna, having a peacock feather on him. Please don't look at that sight, because otherwise you cannot enjoy the relationship or cannot enjoy with friends and others in this material world. In other words, the idea is that Krishna is very attractive. That's why Krishna is called Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan because he attracted even Cupid. Cupid makes us attract to this world every now and then, but Krishna's beauty is so much that he attracted the Cupid. Cupid fainted when, Kamdev, he fainted when he saw the beauty of Krishna. So anybody who observes the beauty of Krishna, their heart will be taken away. And that's one of the prayer we offer to Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, to please give us attraction to you. Let us be attracted. Let us be attracted only to you, my dear Lord, and not to anything else. See, bhakti is very simple. In a way, we just want to be attracted to Krishna. We just want to depend on Krishna. We just want to take shelter of Krishna and Krishna alone. We have no hope other than Krishna's shelter, just dependence on Krishna, serving Krishna, praying to Krishna, loving Krishna, remembering Krishna, talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. That's it. And, and naturally, we are right now in our conditioned state, and we have we make many mistakes. We have many desires to enjoy in this world, and that's why Krishna stays little aloof. But then the solution is the regulative devotion. Just keep serving Krishna, be sincere, keep serving Krishna to the best of your ability. Success in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed, because Krishna is all pure. The process of devotional service is very, very important. If you are practicing, It may take some time, but definitely as long as we're in this material world, Krishna says this material world is a place of suffering. Why? Because there is repeated birth and death. This material world is like this. As long as we are here, being with Krishna and being absorbed in Krishna, so nice, so beautiful. But being away from Krishna in this, it's like but no matter who we are, the process of holy name, the I don't know, I think yesterday only I was discussing everything about Krishna consciousness, very pure. The names of Krishna are pure. The association of devotees is very pure. The lifestyle of the one practicing Krishna consciousness is very pure. The scriptures are very pure. The parampara, disciplic succession is very pure. Everything connected to Krishna consciousness is very pure. So independent of who we are and where we stand, by associating, we will certainly go forward. People are generally attracted to society, friendship, and love, and they make elaborate arrangements and strong endeavors to develop these material contaminations. But to see the Sri Murtis of Radha and Krishna is to forget such endeavor for material association. People in this world, they are mad after material objects. They are mad after trying to enjoy this material world. They want to make very comfortable situation. They want to become very happy in this material world. But what one gets from all the situation is misery. So the Chandramani Maharaj was mentioning, if there is smoke in the air, you take the smoke and then you look at the smoke, and what do you see? Nothing is there. You see the smoke is there, but then you grab it and you open the hand and there is no smoke. He says material happiness is just like that. It may seem it is there, but actually the more we try to acquire material happiness in this existence, the more we become entangled, the more we go away from Krishna. So Mara says pure devotional service or devotional service only to Krishna cannot begin till we are convinced of the word, till we are convinced of, like what Prabhupada says, that there is no happiness in this material existence. Because if we feel, this Maharaj was saying, so naturally I'm not on the stage, but I'm repeating his words. So Maharaj was saying, when we try to enjoy material existence, then naturally our Krishna consciousness will weaken and we will be distracted to our enjoyments. But when we are convinced, one is, Maharaj says, by reading Prabhupada books, the conviction will come that there is no happiness in this material existence. Otherwise, people are trying hard. Somehow we think with Krishna only life is boring. What will I do only with Krishna? And then we try to have many things in this world, thinking this will give me happiness, this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness, and that's how I'll be comfortable, happily situated, and then I will do some service to Krishna here and there once in a while. So that's like, it's okay, but that's like our more faith is on this material existence than our faith on Krishna. Now, whatever situation we are in, once we become purified, we may still continue those situations based on whatever is needed for us to keep the body and soul together. But Maharaj is speaking just about the conviction. The conviction, it's like the more we have a feeling that I can enjoy this material existence, and if we try to enjoy, naturally what we are going to get back is suffering from here. One example given about material happiness is mirage, because it seems like it is going to quench my thirst. but the more we search after it, it makes us dissatisfied, and it takes us away from Krishna also. Simultaneously go away, and material existence gives us only dissatisfaction. So generally, people are attracted to society, friendship, and love, and they make elaborate arrangements and strong endeavor to develop this material contamination. But to see the Sri Murtis of Radha and Krishna or Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu is to forget such endeavor for material association. Worshipping the deity form of the Supreme Lord automatically brings purity and satisfaction to the mind. No matter how dissatisfied we are, serving the deities is very satisfying. Many devotees have shared this with me. So, serving the deity form of the Supreme Lord automatically brings purity and dissatisfaction to the mind. Thus, it is the source of all desirable gains. If a person has no engagement in deity service, he will simply remain attracted to material sense gratification, and he will have no hope for giving a bad association. So, lot of emphasis on deity worship. Somebody may say, in this Kali Yuga, isn't the Harinam Eva Kevalam, isn't that the only thing? Yes, that is true. Then why is Rupa Goswami giving 5 most important, most potent forms of devotional service? Is holy name everything? It is everything. But then do we need deity worship? Yes. Prabhupada gave an example of two parallel train tracks. And Prabhupada says one is deity worship and one is holy name. If they go both in parallel, it is very conducive. And Prabhupada also says somewhere else in the purport, because our contamination is very high in Kali Yuga. Our past, probably for many of us, past was very sinful, and our activities are like degrading day by day. Few hundred years back, degradation was not so much. The consciousness was relatively much purer. People will hear once. People are by default very spiritually minded. Any small sinful activity we do, there is a heavy price one has to pay. A small sinful activity. So, what to speak about all the sinful activities that we may have done in this life and in the previous life. Today, very nice, Maharaj was mentioning a story of a brahmachari. He was sharing with Maharaj. So this brahmachari, he was very fixed up. He would distribute books. He would, for staying, he would somehow rent a small room here and there, and then get up in the morning and then leave, and then hold the distribute books, go to places after places, especially in places where there is no Krishna consciousness, alone, and whole day he would distribute books. Night, take some rest, cook some prasadam, wherever he would stay, continue again. So this brahmachari was doing it for many years, and suddenly, as he was preparing some presentation on a laptop, looking for some images for the presentation, he happened to click something here and there. He saw something that should not be seen, and then his mind was very much attracted. He kept on seeing. He became overtaken by attracted by what he was seeing. Maharaj was giving example of Ajamin and how he was overtaken by material influence because material energy is very strong. So he kind of looked at something, and then he was telling Maharaj that after some time he could not distribute any books. Whatever book distribution he was trying, he lost it. His chanting was lost. Lost means became distracted, became very empty, shallow. He could not connect with anyone. Mind became very disturbed and agitated, and it's like, fuel into the fire, completely disturbed. Like Mara said, he was mentioning, it created a havoc in his spiritual life. So it took him, then Maharaj gave him recommendation, associate with devotees, sincere devotees. And in association, Maharaj said, it took him many months to actually come back. So, people were not so much contaminated in hundreds of years back. People were like relatively very pure. But then with the influence of Kali Yuga, the lives are becoming more and more sinful. This is like Mara said, for him it was one minute of exposure, and it took him a toll on his spiritual life for months. He had an effect on that. So, Prabhupada says, with the influence of Kali, the material influence is very, very strong, and our activities in the past, in this life, in the last life, they have been generally speaking quite sinful, unless we are very pure from our childhood. So there is a huge. That's why people in this age have huge mental problems, anxieties, stress, suffering. It's like uh, it's like internal um, war, uh, and people don't realize actually. So when that is the situation in the past before we came to Krishna, Prabhupada said the minds have been really conditioned. When Prabhupada came to America, these people, illicit sex is like daily activities for them, meat eating, gambling, intoxication, all the sinful activities. So imagine how much how much the mind was contaminated. Like for many of us also, how much the mind has been contaminated from the past. So Prabhupada says, yes, holy name is everything, but in that state of consciousness, one cannot chant the holy name properly. Prabhupada says one is not qualified to chant the holy name because holy name will not reciprocate. And Prabhupada says that's where deity worship is very important. Then he said, because deity worship will remove the contamination from the mind. And that's why he said, do these as parallel tracks. And we see like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship Jagannath every single day. Every Goswami have deities. Rupa Goswami is Radha Govinda, Jiva Goswami is Radha Damodar. Every Goswami, Sanatana Goswami has Madan Mohan Dev. So every devotee has worship deity. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur worship Radha Gokulananda. I think Lokanath Goswami worship Radha Vinod. So in that way, the original deities worshipped by these Goswamis few hundred years back are there in Vrindavan and Jaipur, these two places. Okay, so it becomes very hard. That's why deity worship comes to the rescue. That's why the first line says, worshipping the deity form of the Supreme Lord automatically brings purity and satisfaction to the mind. Mind will become more and more pure. Instead of, people are naturally, in one way, if you see, people are naturally attracted to see many beautiful things, then see the beauty of Krishna, see the beauty of Radharani, see the beauty of Mahaprabhu, the smiling face of Mahaprabhu, smiling face of Nityananda Prabhu. So when we are attracted to their beauty, it makes the mind pure. And then there is Bhagavad Shravan. The Bhagavatam itself states, simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Bhagavatam is very potent. So we discussed about deity worship. We discussed about residing, mentally visiting, physically visiting, or or serving in any of the Prabhupada's temple. Prabhupada says all my temple are not different from Vrindavan. So this is the important way to associate with Dham. And Prabhupada also says even remembering Krishna, Krishna's qualities, Krishna form, Krishna's pastimes. When we are doing that, we are physically present in the Dham. Then we saw the importance of serving devotees and how service to devotees is higher than serving Krishna personally. And service to devotees help to increase the attraction to hear about Krishna. And then we saw the importance of worshipping deities and how in this age both are equally important. And Rupa Goswami says all these 5 are very important. Then this is the 4th one, which is called Bhagavad Shravan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling of loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. These are like, natural qualities in the material world. And there is a lot of lamentation. Then strong illusion. Lot of illusion means attraction to anything, identification with the body, or let's say misidentification with the body, identifying ourselves with the relationships in this world instead of identifying ourselves as an associate of Krishna. So this is all illusion. Lamentation, why this happening to me? Or any form of it can have many forms. Fearfulness. Srimad Bhagavatam says fear is because of attachment to the temporary, fear of losing, fear of unknown. Today, actually, if you can hear the recorded lecture of Chandramauli Maharaj, it was like a different level. So Bhagavatam itself states that if we give oral reception to Bhagavatam, then the feeling for loving devotion service to Lord Krishna will arise. Srimad Bhagavatam itself says that Bhagavatam is self-sufficient for realizing Krishna, for God realization. Bhagavatam says, if an intelligent person has Bhagavatam, then what is the need of any other literature? One should really try hard to make a daily practice to read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam itself states Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, daily read Bhagavatam. Some people have reading habits. For some people, they find it easier to read. Some don't find it easier to read. But then our devotional service is regulated. Regulated means try your best. Yesterday I was sharing to one devotee, someday we may feel absorbed in Bhagavatam, someday we may not feel absorbed in Bhagavatam. It's just like any other form of devotional service. Someday we may feel absorbed in chanting, sometime we may not feel. Sometime we may feel absorbed in hearing, sometime we may not feel. Sometime we may feel absorbed in deity worship, sometime we may not feel anything. And likewise, sometimes we may feel absorbed in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, sometimes we feel like I cannot read it. But still we chant anyways. Most of us, I believe, are chanting anyways. So likewise, Bhagavatam should be like that. Do it anyways. Actually, when our consciousness is good, every form of devotional service becomes very attractive. Hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, serving Krishna, cooking for Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, reading about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, everything is very attractive when consciousness is good. When consciousness is not good, keep doing everything anyways. Good or bad, everything is Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada says in one of the purport, good or bad, everything Krishna arranged, because Krishna is all good. And Maharaj says, like today, Maharaj says, Krishna loves his devotees. So independent of what we are doing, everything Krishna's love, because Krishna cannot stop loving us. Krishna loves his devotees. And Prabhupada says in this purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, Tathenu kampam susumikshamano bhunjano evatma kritam bhagam. Vedavagma purbil vidadam namaste jiveta yamukti pade sadaya bhag. Prabhupada says, that verse says, whatever suffering one goes through or one is going through in life, one should see that suffering as the reaction from one's own past karma. That's why this suffering is coming to me, because I caused suffering to somebody. My own karma is coming back to me. So when a devotee goes to suffering, actually Krishna is teaching them a lesson. Prabhuji should not do like this. Mata should not do like this. Krishna's love, because Krishna wants us to become pure. Krishna wants us to go back to him. There, Prabhupada says, the reason Krishna acts in this way, the reason we go through these difficulties, is because Krishna wants to curb our enjoying mentality. Okay, so simply by giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, how can we give oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam? By book Bhagavat and by a devotee Bhagavat. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam classes is devotee Bhagavat, and reading Srimad Bhagavatam is book Bhagavat. In these two ways, you render service to Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. Every day serve Bhagavatam, either through devotee Bhagavat or book Bhagavat. Then loving service, a feeling for loving devotional service to Krishna will sprout. And then what will be the effect? Lamentation will go, illusion will go. Once illusion go, then we identify ourselves as an associate of Krishna. And then we depend on Krishna. And fearfulness, fear will go. The conclusion is that simply by hearing the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And thereby one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and fearfulness. These are practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the readings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada says, by simply hearing the Vedic literature Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Direct connection. It is said that Bhagavatam is body of Krishna. Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. Krishna left, Bhagavatam descended. It is said, like Chaitanya Charitamrita, one verse explains, Krishna is manifesting in this material world through Bhagavatam and holy names. Holy name is sound representation of Krishna, and Bhagavatam is literary representation of Krishna. And as one have direct connection with Krishna, one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and fearfulness. Fear will go away, illusion will start to dissipate. Just like when sun comes, the fog start dissipate and we see things. In India, especially winter fog, we cannot see anything. But sun dispels the fog. Likewise, Bhagavatam dispels the illusion of our covering, of our desires. And we start seeing things more clearly about ourselves. Cheto Darpana Marjana. Illusion starts reducing, fear starts going away. Kadama Kadana Maharaj, when he stopped drinking water, he wanted to show and he wanted to follow Prabhupada on how to leave the body and set an example for the world to follow also. And in last speech that Kadama Kadana Maharaj gave, he said, I have no fear of death. I have no fear of death. So fear will go, illusion will go, worldly miseries will go. And Prabhupada says this is the actual test that if we are giving a submissive hearing to the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, see, illusion, fear, miseries are they going? Material miseries, worldly miseries. Now, the situation may not be in our favor. But if we are experiencing misery, then there is something wrong. Otherwise, devotees generally, even in the time of distress, they have a more positive and a different outlook, seeing Krishna. So it is said miserable situations may be there, but suffering is optional. So when these things are going away, that's the test that we are giving oral reception to Bhagavatam. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover today. And let's see if there is some discussion. Anybody wants to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Okay, one small question, Prabhuji. For fasting on auspicious days, right? Like nothing to do with the or Ekadasi days. Sometimes, what if we forget to fast or by the adja of tongue? What if we by forgetting if we just eat in between or what should we do in that situation, Prabhuji?
Yeah, this is, I mean, if you eat, just say Ekadashi and by mistake you eat a grain and you forget, I think over a period of time we become more aware. In a way, it's just because in the past we did not have that habit. Now we took that
Mhm.
habit, but that is still going on. For us to really like have this in the mind all the time, it's just a matter of time that you won't do it. If you ate 1 or 2 grains, I mean, two things are said. One thing is if we forget to fast, then we can fast the next day. But what I would say, it will be very austere if you did the whole day Ekadashi and you ate a grain, and next day again you have to do Ekadashi full day. So I would say beg forgiveness, and over a period of time, by Krishna's mercy, that won't happen.
Oh,
Is that all right?
yeah, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Divya Himangi Devi, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if possible, can you send the link for Maharat's lecture? Because we are now more eager to hear that lecture because you discussed so many points from that lecture.
Yeah, it was an amazing lecture actually. Maybe I think the best way is go to ISKCON Farmington, his Facebook page.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right, I guess we will end here. Thank you all for joining. If I speak anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavendra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for this Mataji's done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanvat
Thank you,
Pranam.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.